What's up, 12s? Victor here, and I need you to lean in for this one because we just won the Super Bowl. We got revenge on the New England Patriots. We finished the job. And now, one of the biggest defensive heroes from that game might be on the trade block. Yeah, already. I'm talking about the veteran pass rusher who sealed the Super Bowl with a pick 6. The guy who tied for the team lead with 7. 0 sacks this season, the tone setter off the edge, the emotional heartbeat of that championship defense. And now analysts are saying he could be one of Seattle's top trade assets this offseason. Why? Money. He's entering his age 30 season. He's on a $45 million deal, and the Seahawks could free up more than $11 million in cap space by moving him. That's the cold side of the NFL. Now here's the real question. Do you sell high after a Super Bowl run? Do you trust your depth and younger pass rushers to carry the load? Or do you keep the proven veteran who showed up on the biggest stage possible? But that's not even the most emotional storyline right now. Because on offense, things could get even more dramatic. Our Super Bowl MVP, the explosive home run hitting running back who just had career highs in games played and yards from scrimmage, is heading toward free agency. And if he walks, there's a name quietly being discussed behind the scenes. A dynamic 3-down back who has already posted nearly 1,500 all-purpose yards in a season. A player who thrives in the wide zone scheme. A back who brings elite receiving ability and pass protection, 2 areas that could elevate this offense even more. And if you plug that skill set into this Shanahan-style system we're running now, that's not a downgrade, that's evolution. So think about what's happening here, 12s. You just won a Super Bowl. Now you're potentially trading a defensive hero to create cap flexibility, losing your Super Bowl MVP in free agency, replacing him with a younger, scheme-perfect weapon. This is what championship windows look like. Ruthless decisions, long-term vision, emotion versus strategy, and I trust this front office. Especially after hearing that John Schneider has a very clear vision for what comes next. But I need to hear from you. Do you move the veteran defender and clear cap space? Do you pay the Super Bowl MVP whatever it takes? Or do you pivot to the younger, more versatile running back and keep building for sustained dominance? Drop your takes in the comments. I'm reading everything. And if you're a real 12, if you're still celebrating this championship like it just happened yesterday, smash that like button. Subscribe to Seahawks Nation Update, but only if you're truly proud of this team and ready to defend that title, because this offseason, it's about to define the next era of Seahawks football. Seahawks Nation, I don't even like saying this out loud, we just won the Super Bowl. We're on top of the world, and now there are rumors that one of the biggest heroes from that game could be traded? Yeah. This one hurts a little. Alright, let's talk about Uchenna Nwosu, the Super Bowl moment we'll never forget. Every Seahawks fan remembers it. Late in the Super Bowl, Patriots trying to claw back, momentum shifting, and then pick 6, game sealed. And Nwosu didn't just make a play, he slammed the door on New England. That's legacy stuff. That's forever Seahawk highlight reel material. Which is why this rumor feels wild, the contract reality. Here's where the business side comes in. Nwosu is on a 3-year, $45 million contract. Seattle has an out in the deal. If they release him, they save over $12 million in cap space. If they trade him, they likely clear around $11, $5 million. Now let's be clear, Seattle already has one of the largest cap spaces in the league this offseason. This isn't desperation. This is flexibility, and flexibility wins championships. His 2025 production stat line in 2025, 35 total tackles, 15 QB hits, 7 sacks, tied for team lead. 3 pass deflections, 16 games played, 11 starts. That's a productive year. Especially considering the 2 seasons prior, where injuries limited him severely. He missed 22 combined games over 2023 and 2024. That's the risk factor. Durability. Why analysts think he's a trade candidate. Bleacher Report's Alex Ballantyne pointed something out that makes sense. Seattle's interior defensive line is strong with Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams. That forces one-on-one matchups for edge rushers. In other words, Nwosu benefited from favorable alignments. And here's the hard truth. He might be more valuable to another team than he is to Seattle. If you can sell high after a Super Bowl hero moment, that's smart asset management. The bigger defensive picture, let's zoom out. Seattle just had the best defense in football, 6 sacks in the Super Bowl, elite pressure rate all season, top-tier turnover production. Mike Macdonald built this defense on depth and versatility. This isn't a one-man pass rush, it's waves. If Seattle believes younger, cheaper edge options can produce 80-85% of Nwosu's output, then clearing $11 or $12 million might help strengthen other areas. Maybe offensive line, maybe corner depth, maybe a big name addition somewhere else. That's how championship rosters evolve. The emotional versus logical debate. Emotionally, you don't trade a Super Bowl hero. Logically, you evaluate age, contract structure, durability, and future flexibility. Nwosu is entering his age 30 season. Edge rushers can age well, but it's not guaranteed. If you can get draft capital and free up cap space, John Schneider has to at least explore it. The Schneider factor, and here's what gives me confidence. Head coach Mike Macdonald recently said this about John Schneider. Don't be fooled by his AW Shucks personality. He's as sharp as they come. He's got a very clear vision of what he wants to achieve. That's not accidental praise, that's belief. Schneider built this championship roster. If he moves Nwosu, it won't be random. It'll be strategic. If the Seahawks can trade Nwosu for meaningful draft compensation, I understand it. If they cut him just to save money, that feels less likely given our cap space. Personally, if the return is strong, a day 2 pick, maybe more, I'd consider it. But if the market isn't there, you keep him and chase another ring, because pass rush depth wins in January. And we plan on playing in January again. Would you trade Uchenna Nwosu, or do you ride with the Super Bowl hero and run it back? Is this smart cap management or unnecessary risk? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Alright, now let's talk about something that could seriously shape the future of this franchise. But before we dive in, I gotta say it, like if you're still smiling about that Super Bowl parade, if you're still replaying that Lombardi lift in your head, if you're proud to be part of the best fan base in football, just smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. But only if you're a real Seahawks fan who's still celebrating that Super Bowl title. No bandwagon energy allowed here. We all saw what Kenneth Walker III did this season. In Super Bowl LX at Levi's Stadium against the New England Patriots, he wasn't just good, he was legendary. Career highs in games played, career highs in yards from scrimmage, and he capped it off with a Super Bowl MVP performance. That fourth quarter drive, ice in his veins, that burst through the B gap, vintage K9. Walker has always been explosive, but this year he put it all together. Durability, vision, patience in the wide zone scheme. And when it mattered most, he delivered on the biggest stage in football. Now here's the reality, 12s, he's heading into free agency. The franchise tag window is about to open, and that's going to be the first domino. If Seattle tags him, we're talking roughly top tier RB money. If they don't, there are teams with cap space who would love to pay a 26-year-old Super Bowl MVP running back. So what happens if Kenneth Walker walks? There's a name floating around that honestly makes a ton of sense, Breece Hall. Now before anyone jumps into the comments saying, "Victor, you're crazy, K9 is better." Relax, I love Walker, I want him back. But we've got to think strategically. Back in 2023, Hall put up nearly 1,500 all-purpose yards and 9 total touchdowns when healthy. That wasn't behind an elite offensive line either. That was in a situation that wasn't exactly stable. Hall is slightly different stylistically. Walker is a home run hitter with elite cutback ability. Hall, he's smoother, more of a glide runner. But what separates him, and this is key, is his 3-down versatility. He's a legit receiving weapon out of the backfield, and in pass protection, he's ahead of Walker. That matters in today's NFL. Now let's talk scheme fit. The Seahawks may have moved on from Clint Kubiak, but they brought in Brian Fleury, who comes from the San Francisco 49ers coaching tree, a disciple of Kyle Shanahan. That means wide zone concepts aren't going anywhere. That's important because Breece Hall thrives in wide zone. Shanahan's system is all about vision, patience, one-cut explosiveness. Hall checks those boxes. If you drop him behind this Seahawks offensive line, which just paved the way for a Super Bowl run, I honestly believe he could surpass that 2,500-yard all-purpose mark. And here's something we need to acknowledge as fans. Walker was elite as a runner, but as a receiving option, the offense never fully unlocked that dimension. Hall gives you mismatches against linebackers. He gives you check down efficiency, He keeps the chains moving on 3rd and 6. That's the kind of back that extends championship windows. Now emotionally, losing a Super Bowl MVP hurts. We've been here before. We've watched legends leave, but smart franchises don't panic. They evolve. If the Seahawks front office decides Walker's price is too steep, pivoting to Hall isn't a downgrade in the long run. It might be a strategic upgrade in terms of versatility and scheme sustainability. And let me be clear, if Seattle keeps Walker, I'm celebrating. If they pivot to Hall, I'm trusting the system that just won us a Lombardi. Because championships aren't about one player, they're about culture, scheme, development, and Seattle has that right now. So I want to hear from you 12s. Do you tag Kenneth Walker? Do you pay him long term? Or do you let him walk and go after Breece Hall? Drop your takes in the comments. Let's debate it like real fans. And again, if you're proud of this team, if you believe in the front office, if you're still celebrating that Super Bowl championship, hit that like button and subscribe to Seahawks Nation Update. Only real Seahawks fans allowed. This is Victor. Go Hawks!